Hi guys, hello and welcome to Helping Hand MBBS. So we have started this series of making videos for a rapid revision of the important topics, and I think microbiology is the most volatile subject according to me because there are so many details, so many difficult names of the viruses and the bacteria to remember. Of course, pharma is equally volatile, but microbiology is itself a difficult subject. At least it was for me. So I always tried to come up with ways to simplify it, and I have just made this mind map here to simplify it for you as well. So on this slide you can see a very neat and clean mind map, but on the next slide I have written some important points, so I've kept that slide different so that I don't create mess over this slide. The purpose of this video is for you to learn the names of the various DNA viruses along with their examples, the basic properties about them, the shape, envelope, present, not present, and the diseases that they cause. So without any further delay, because this is a rapid video, let's start revising rapidly. So DNA viruses, as you can see on the screen, have 6 families in total: herpes viridae, pox viridae, just a second, okay, herpes viridae, pox viridae, adenoviridae, papoviridae, parvoviridae, and hepatnaviridae. Okay, so let's start the examples of herpes viridae. The herpes viridae has total 8 herpes viruses, which are known as human herpes viruses 1 to 8. The human herpes virus 1 and 2 are respectively known as human simplex virus 1, human simplex virus 2. Please check where I am highlighting it. Then the HHV3 is varicella zoster virus, HHV4 is Epstein-Barr virus, HHV5 is cytomegalovirus, and then there are the less important HHV6, 7 and 8. Then we have the pox viridae, in which we have 2 important viruses to remember. One is the variola virus and the other is the molluscum contagiosum virus. Variola virus is the smallpox virus, and we know that smallpox is a very important virus because of the immunization history that it is associated with. Then we have the adenoviridae, which is the human adenovirus. It has many serotypes and many diseases that it causes. Then in papoviridae we have human papilloma virus, JC virus, which stands for John Cunningham virus, and BK virus, which stands for borrowed kidney virus. Then parvoviridae, we have parvovirus B19, and hepatnaviridae, we have the very famous hepatitis B virus. So please pause the video and just try to recollect all these viruses. Close your eyes and then say the names again yourself. So moving on from this slide to the next slide. See, I told you already that I have written some important things. So instead of learning which is enveloped, which is non-enveloped, let's simplify it. The viruses that I've highlighted in blue over here, the 3 viruses, I have made a mnemonic for them. It is known as papad. Papad is a dish, like it's a snack that we eat with food. So papad stands for parvoviridae, papoviridae, and there is this common A, so this is adenoviridae. All 3 are non-enveloped, so you can remember that papad is non-enveloped. So these 3 families are non-enveloped, and so now you can remember that the examples of these families will be obviously non-enveloped. The symmetry of these viruses: all the DNA viruses are icosahedral viruses. Their symmetry is icosahedral, except this one virus, which is the pox viridae family, which has a complex symmetry because of its very large size. Not because, but it has a complex symmetry. Okay, then important thing, all of them have a double-stranded DNA, but parvovirus B19 is one virus which has a single-stranded linear DNA. And hepatitis B virus, although has a double-stranded circular DNA, but it has an incomplete DNA. Okay, so again, just revise it once, go through this slide once and try to recall yourself after closing your eyes. So we have the papad, which is non-enveloped, pox viridae has complex symmetry, and parvovirus has a single-stranded linear DNA, and hepatitis B virus has an incomplete DNA. I hope this has become easier for you now. Now I will be starting with the names of the diseases. Don't expect to get the details of all the diseases in this video. I have just tried to make it simpler for you You can obviously read the details from your books, but at least for you to remember all the diseases, this video might prove very, very helpful. Okay, starting with the herpes viridae family. In this, I told you already that we have 8 human herpes viruses, but out of them, the 5 are important. HSV 1 and 2, that is human simplex virus 1 and 2, cause diseases like oropharyngeal and genital mucocutaneous lesions. Oropharyngeal, you can remember this, I remembered it very easily, that oropharyngeal is the upper part of the body, so it is, 1 is always above than 2. So HSV 1 is associated with oropharyngeal lesions, and since genital area is the lower area of the body, it is associated with HSV 2 mainly. So they cause some mucocutaneous lesions. We can also have some extracutaneous manifestations like encephalitis and meningitis. Please go through the details from your books. 2 is the varicella zoster virus, which is the HHV3. It causes the infamous chickenpox, which we commonly see, chickenpox in children. Please try to understand the description that I have written here. You need to compare it with the smallpox, which is in the next slide. So there is a superficial centripetal, that is, it travels from periphery to the center. Centripetal pleomorphic rash on the trunk and flexor. What do you mean by pleomorphic? Pleomorphic is that the rashes, like once they will appear at some place, then they will start to change the stage, then lesions will start at some other place. So different rashes will be in different stages of their development, and they are present on the trunk and flexor surfaces. Then we have the Epstein-Barr virus, which causes diseases like infection. See, EBV is associated with many diseases. I have tried to just put up the important ones. It causes infectious mononucleosis. It causes nasopharyngeal carcinoma. It is associated with Burkitt's lymphoma, with Hodgkin's lymphoma, with primary effusion lymphoma, that is seen in Kaposi sarcoma. So these are the important. If you cannot remember everything about EBV, at least you should know which infections it causes. Then we have the cytomegalovirus. In this also we see an infectious mononucleosis-like syndrome. Please read from your books what is the difference between infectious mononucleosis and IM-like syndrome. Please see the thing that I've written in red. It is the most common viral agent of opportunistic infections in HIV patients and transplant recipients. See, we all know that in HIV and in both transplant people, because they take immunosuppressant agents, there is a immunosuppression. So there will be opportunistic infections. So if a question is asked that which viral agent will be the most common opportunistic agent, your first answer should be CMV. Then I've also written that CMV shows the transplacental, perinatal and postnatal, all 3 types of transmission in pregnant women. Okay, so this was all about herpes viridae. Moving on to pox viridae, as I told you about variola, which is the smallpox causing agent. Please see here also the lesion. In chicken pox it was superficial, but here it is a deep-seated lesion. In there it was a pleomorphic lesion, here it is single stage. In there it was centripetal, here it is centrifugal lesions. Okay, then we have the MCV, that is the molluscum contagiosum virus. As you can see, I have put up a picture as well. It causes pink pearly white lesions, and they are umbilicated with a dimple in the center. I hope that you're able to appreciate in the diagram. This is a very important diagram, and it is commonly asked in MCQs, and you should generally also know. You can see the dimple in the center. Then we have the third family, which is the adenovirus family. I told you there are many serotypes. There are 57 serotypes. I'm not going to tell you all the serotypes. If you're interested, you can maybe just see it from the book. I have written important things. So you should know that adenoviruses causes 4 types of infections: respiratory, visual, that is eye infections, diarrhea, hemorrhagic cystitis. In respiratory infections, it causes acute pharyngitis, acute respiratory disease and pneumonia. In eye infections, it causes epidemic keratoconjunctivitis, which is known as the shipyard eye. In diarrhea, you can remember the serotype. There are 2 important serotypes, 40 and 41. In hemorrhagic cystitis, there are 2 important serotypes, 11 and 21. You can see I have written a question in this particular cell, that which pharmacological drug is associated with hemorrhagic cystitis. It is not related to microbiology. I've just written it to make the video interesting. It would be great if one of you can comment the answer that which particular drug in pharmacology is associated with hemorrhagic cystitis. Then I'm so sorry if the slide looks clumsy. I've tried to write it in a bigger font so that you can see it. So there are two families that I've written on this one slide: the Hepednaviridae member hepatitis B and the Parvoviridae member parvovirus B19. Hepatitis B, as we all know, causes hepatitis, which itself is a very, very big topic. I will not go into even a single detail about it. Parvovirus B19 causes fifth disease or erythema infectiosum. See, there are many erythema nodosum and all of that. So try to remember that parvovirus is a virus. It is an infection. You can remember that it causes erythema infectiosum. And there is characteristic slab cheek appearance associated with it. I have put up a picture. I hope that you can understand that this is a picture of a slab cheek appearance which is associated with parvovirus B19. It looks like the child has been slapped. The last thing, the last family is Papoviridae family. It has two subfamilies, polyoma virus and papilloma virus. Polyoma virus has two members, JC virus and BK virus. JC virus, I told you, is a John Cunningham virus. You should only remember that it causes PMLE, which is progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy. And BK virus BK was borrowed kidney, so you can remember from that in transplant kidneys it causes infection like interstitial nephritis. I hope my writing is legible to you. Then I have the papilloma virus, which is a very, very important virus because it is associated with cervical cancer, as we all know, the human papilloma virus. But it causes other things as well. It causes skin warts, it causes genital warts, it causes epidermodysplasia verruciformis, which is the tree man syndrome, and it causes anogenital cancer, which is the cervical cancer, and in fact it is also associated with some oral cancers. But most important that you should be remembering is that it causes cervical cancer. Most common genotypes associated are 16 and 18. Those are the high risk genotypes of papilloma virus. So guys, this was all about the DNA viruses, all the important things according to me, which I could put up in this small video I have put up for you. I hope it helps you to revise things very fast and you are ready for your exams. All the best and thank you.